What he's saying is, this also has other fulfillments to come, where I'm going to do the same type of thing. I'm consistent. You mess up, I'm patient, I chastise. At some point, I lose my patience with that, realizing that's not working, and I'm going to let you just go play with the pigs and be exiled, and then I'm not going to lose my compassion for you and destroy you. I am going to, in the future, then bring you back. Okay? And so as we're going through this, he's saying that this is something that is his pattern of behavior in dealing with us meaning all human beings throughout time. Okay? He does smaller and smaller things that get bigger and bigger to try to get our attention. And at some point he says, well, you're not listening. I'm just going to send you out there because you're just not listening. So go. The heart is what? The seat of the emotions, right? It's the seat of our emotions, how we feel about everything. You can't seek him with all your heart if you're still seeking you with some of it. You understand that? He says, in order to get right with me, you're going to pray, you're going to own what you did, and then you're going to want to seek to do what's right, and the only way you're going to accomplish that is to stop thinking about what you want. You can't spin this and kind of seek both what he wants in the context of you. You need to put you in the context of him. Your way of doing it isn't my way of doing it, he's saying. Now, you can then take my ways and do them, and then my ways become your ways, but they're still his. You're just doing them. He says, your way of doing it is not my way of doing it. But you know what? We often have this problem because we don't trust. We don't trust him. We don't trust any authority. And because we don't trust him, we need. This is where we have this emotion, right? We have this emotion called need. If it's a need, it must be met. We need to understand and agree before we do. You can't really Shuva, return, unless you're going to return ready to trust and obey. There's no doing this another way. You can't just say, okay, I'm out here and I want to be over there, and I'm going to come and still do everything my way over here. And he's going to say, no, I'm going to throw you back out. That doesn't work for him. You want to be in his house, you're going to have to live by his rules. And we have a covenant. Covenant says, we will do what you say, whether we understand it or not. We trust. Bitachon, we trust. We have emunah. We believe that everything he does is fully under his control. He allows or causes everything because that way it serves his purpose, whether we understand it or not. And there's an awful lot of things that happen out there that he allows that we don't understand. But we have to understand is that he understands it and it serves his purposes, and we trust. What mind was that? The mind of Yahweh, the mind of the Father. Yeshua said, everything I say, everything I do comes straight from the Father. Because I have aligned myself perfectly with him. I don't have any preferences to impose. Look, you saw a conversation with Yeshua and the Father where he said, Father, if it is possible, I would prefer not to be tortured to death. Is there any other way to do this? Now, he wasn't going to then impose his preference. He just asked the question, and you can too. But he asked the question in a way that you don't often enough. Fully ready to say, nevertheless, your will be done. And once he said that, he released his preference. So you don't release your preference. Even when you say, okay, we'll do it your way, you sit there, you mumble under your breath and you grumble about it while you're doing what you didn't want to do. We have to know that he's not playing games here. He is literally deadly serious. Life and death is involved in all of these things. And so he is deadly serious. He is not going to allow you to live forever if you're not going to trust him forever. He's not going to have all that drama in forever. Okay, a lot of you are going to have to put down your, acting credentials. Best actor or actress in a drama. Put down your Academy Awards. Because do you really think that's all going to happen in the kingdom forever? All of that whiny, complainy, upset, insecure, anxiety-ridden drama? Now, I'm not attacking you if you're there now. I'm encouraging you that has to be the focus of what you need to fix. There's only going to be bitachon, trust, emunah, faith and belief, and there's going to be shalom. And as you examine them, you have to ask yourself, I know I've transgressed because we make mistakes and we do things we shouldn't do because we want to and that kind of stuff. But how much of it was also rebellion, where you in a much more conscious way did it knowing you shouldn't do it? I mean, not that when you sin, it's not something that on some level you know you shouldn't do, and you're overwhelmed by your lust or desire to do something that you really want to do that he says no, or you really don't want to do something he says yes. But some of it is abject and outright rebellion, where you basically say, I know he said that, and it's not. See, the first example I said, I know he said it, but my emotions are so strong, and I'm so addicted, or I'm so this or that, I'm struggling in my handicap. The other side of it is, I know and I don't care. So if we're going to return, if we're going to Shuva, we have to examine our ways and turn back. But we have to search and examine and look for what's going on. And I keep encouraging you as strong as I can to peel through the layers to figure out what actually is at the root of the causes. And it's always going to come down to how you feel. Either something made you feel really good and you want that feeling, or something made you feel in some sort of negative way and you want to avoid that feeling. That's why you do and don't do everything. It all eventually has to do with feelings. I like the way it feels, I'm going to seek more of it. I don't like the way it feels, I'm going to avoid it. And that's where we run into trouble. Especially those of us that have a challenge with authority submission because we don't like the way it feels. Anything that feels like authority or feels like control, that becomes really, really tough. He says, as a matter of fact, they're unable to listen because what I say is a reproach to them. Well, if it wasn't for Torah and Shabbat, I could have taken that job for $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year or whatever. See, he starts to become a reproach to you. Oh, I could have done this and that, except that Torah thing got in the way. Oh, now my daughter won't talk to me ever again because I didn't go to her graduation, or I wouldn't, attend the wedding, or my son this, or my daughter that, or my other family members. So it becomes a reproach. You start getting angry with him because he doesn't want to let you do what you want, and you don't like the results of doing what he wants. I'm sorry, but you didn't read the small print, did you? Of course, it's all in the same size print, isn't it? When he said, if you choose me, you will have challenges in your life, but it will be worth it. He's saying, because they would not listen, and they're looking at my word as a reproach, I'm going to take them out of the land, everybody, and put them under all kinds of awful conditions to show you what the result is of not listening. He's not playing around. Now, by the way, it's not because he's so controlling and dictatorial. He's not playing around because he needs to know, and don't tell me he knows everything and all that stuff. I know that. He wants to, for whatever reason, he wants to see you walk it out and do it so that he has the visible evidence of your actions to know if you're trustworthy forever. He is not going to give you an incorruptible forever bodysuit without knowing for sure that none of this will ever happen. Do you understand? This is not a game. It's like, oh, it's going to be so wonderful. We're all going to live forever. Really? Are you ready to do this so he can trust you?